Welcome to Java. Thank you kindly for joining me. It's October 1st, 2024. It is Tuesday. There is quite a bit going on this morning. This is coming out a bit late, trying to get it out prior to market open, but some of what is going on is developing as we speak. To start with, we've got what is across mainstream media, the port strikes that have started at midnight in the United States now. A lot of these, you notice, are rallying against automation, and that is a large part of what is moving forward with what will replace this. Large part of the markets and the fears going on is regarding unemployment. So let's go into what is going on behind all of this. Starting with the main risk indicators, the MMRI is at 235. Now, this has been declining slowly but gradually. So we've got this continuing down. We've got the fear greed meter, more retailers pouring into the markets, basically. Heavily in the greed territory, we've got the largest number of accounts that have been opened in the past month, both between stock market accounts as well as cryptocurrencies. So basically, a lot of new retailers pouring in, using it as stock market. And a lot of these accounts, I expect, will be blown up probably not long after the election cycle. So we've got Powell saying the United States economy is in solid shape and the Fed intends to keep it that way. Now, I'd like to say a word about this. Powell's main focus and main drive is his reputation. So he does not care necessarily about rates or the United States economy. The soft landing is a kind of a fable. It cannot go on. They're going to proclaim this right before it blows up. Now, keeping in mind, he wants to go down in history and basically will do whatever it takes to keep this maintained for as long as possible to his term. So Federal Reserve is basically the core head of a group of banks. They are not the government, not affiliated with the government, and their drive is to push inflation because inflation devalues the currency, which is what they are freely able to print. And as they get goods and services for this, they are allowed to print more. So this devalues the currency, and it basically builds their personal balance sheet. So with this, we've got cryptocurrencies basically rallying again. Bitcoin all-time high target remaining in place as long as it stays strong above the $62,000 level. So we'll keep the eye on that level. What is going on with stocks right now, continuing to inflate, basically drives money into the markets, which pushes stock market higher. Now, what we're watching is inflation in play. Assets across the board all going up in price as it is valued in dollars. So we've got UBS warning a further US dollar decline as the dollar gets weaker or devalued. You could also say inflated. They're telling their investors to reduce US dollar holdings and basically put their money into solid assets like gold. So money will be flying into everything other than the US dollar, basically gold, stocks, property. So we'll watch housing going back up in price, although the depression and deflation will be born only through basically this recession that is incoming. So the sentiment right now, never fear, the Fed is near, going to pump up stocks as they continue to inflate until it breaks. We are watching also the competition of the currencies between Japan, the yen, and China, the yuan. These currency wars beginning to heat up severely as we're watching a major distortion between the currencies. We've also got the physical war going on, proxy wars with Iran, Russia, and China, and this port strike going on. So with this, do not fear with the port strike. And if you've been here and you've been listening, then you understand and you have been basically stocked up already. This is not anything new to you and you are fine. I do have a quick word about these two graphs that I've got to the right, speaking about stocks, because I had a question about this. The top one is, you see this in blue. as US stocks prior to the market open, and this is the futures as it's basically looking forward, both looking green, so expecting continuation with stocks. This morning, although they could get weak toward later in the day, we're going to look at the calendar as for things that could affect these. So we're looking at job openings 10 a.m., ISM and PMI. If any of these numbers throw the market off too much, we've got Fed president speakers, they jump in and they will manage the markets back to where they need to be. So if you are new here, basically we have the reports come out, you'll see the stocks take their moves, and then the Fed presidents basically ease the markets, give them reassurance, and move them back into the direction that they need to go. So we've got to be announced auto sales. With this, yesterday we had Stellantis' parent company of United States Auto Workers, basically their shares plunging as the car maker is following with Volkswagen in a warning on the profits and also cutting production because they are basically have a glut of vehicles, and the United Auto Workers is basically going into strike mode again. Stellantis has to deal with that, and they are losing money with that going on right now. Wednesday, we're expecting ADP. Basically, unemployment numbers, again, is what the Fed is saying they're looking towards. So we'll hear from another Fed president managing that if it goes askew. Okay, so I've got a few other stories. In the economy, we've got a wealth effect that is for the most part tied to housing. Now people have a home, whether they're selling it or not. If they feel that it has high value, it gives them the feeling of security that they can spend their savings. Now, this has been going on recently with housing market bubble. Now, as I was just saying, all assets basically will rise as the dollar is in decline. However, there will be pockets of real estate, particularly they just got hit by this major weather. We've got a Florida town ravaged by the storms, and all of the homeowners in this specific area want to sell at the same time. Prices are plummeting on this, as well as the insurance costs, making it unaffordable. So we're going to see certain areas like this, as well as the Carolinas, drop in value as these do. This could cause a domino effect as that wealth effect crumbles. So watch this for things moving forward, and I'll also keep you up to date. Moving over basically to cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence sector, we've got these tied together now. I've been speaking about basically the underlying workings of cryptocurrency and artificial intelligence are two things. Number one, energy, power to drive them. And number two, data centers. So now Hive Digital was cryptocurrency mining. They are expanding into artificial data centers. So I expect them to basically be doing well on the back of this. Okay, so keep an eye on that. Not financial advice, but just a basically heads up on that. We've also got US Trading App Robinhood launching crypto transfers in Europe. Now, the ironic thing is they say their drive is to push towards self-custody and decentralized finance. They are neither, because they hold your current cryptocurrencies on their exchange that's not self-custody, and the exchange is also through their major exchange that's not a peer-to-peer, so it's not decentralized either. However, if they drive adoption, could still be a good thing for the sector. We've also got a gold-backed ecosystem aiming to bridge blockchain to Tradfi. So I have a novel idea for you. Why don't you buy your own gold, hold your own gold in your own safe, and then you can sell your own cryptocurrency and exchange it on the market against your gold if you like to. That way you hold your own. So with this, going to leave that sector and go into the physical wars for a moment, because this is exploding and escalating as we speak. And the reason behind it is because the real economy that is going on right now, in particular in the United States, it is a war economy. Now we've got Israeli troops entering Lebanon. They basically have launched massive offensive going on last night. They are telling 30 border villages basically that they need to evacuate in Lebanon. So they're attacking more towns and getting away with it. And it is not just them, but also United States uh, conducted airstrikes in Syria. They're stating they killed 37 militants tied to ISIS and Al Qaeda. Now, this is not an old story, this just happened. We're also sending thousands more United States troops and attack aircraft heading to the Middle East as Israel targets Hezbollah. Now, they just unveiled as well billions of dollars aid package going to Ukraine, and yet they need funds for domestic damage that has just happened over these major storms, and they are declining to put large amounts of money there. That is because it does not drive the economy in the way that they want to. So if this doesn't wake you up to the fact that this is indeed a war economy for the bankers, I don't know what will. So with this, let's just go forward. A couple of other things I would like to speak about. Now, we've got Georgia. There was Biolab, that shelter-in-place order. They are now extending that indefinitely. They've got chemicals into the air. One of them, chlorine. If you're not familiar, chlorine gas is was used as a war weapon. So highly toxic chemicals, telling people they can't move out of their homes right now. And it's very suspicious the area that these are hitting. If you look up the voter base for some of these, as well as the storms that just hit and tore through some of these areas. Now, I want to mention something else. This is tin time, and the reason is these are basically the stories that could get this video pulled, so hopefully I'll make it out. We've got Verizon had some outages, but as you can see here, there was a tech that basically said there was an unauthorized shutdown of portions of the electrical grid, specifically targeting cell towers, and that this could basically expand nationwide. This is not related to the storm as it was originally basically put out. There's much more to the story than what they're saying. Okay, with this, I also want to bring up there's another warning: killer bleeding virus spreading. It is spelled Marburg. I cannot say it out loud because this is a hemorrhagic fever tied in. So this one has the fear factor to it because very scary if you're bleeding from your eyes, basically, which is one of these fevers does. People are much more willing to do whatever it takes, whatever they tell you to avoid it. Now, don't be under fear. Fear is basically the killer, again, for all of these things in order to get you to comply. So with this, wish you a great trading day. Don't give in to your fear in either place. And until I see you again, my friends, stay free.